with a request, if you please turn on your videos and hand over the charge to our presiding officer, distinguished Toastmaster Asman Nas. Over to you, DTM Asman.
Thank you so much, DTM Talha. I welcome you all. As we have mentioned that it is our 83rd meeting, and WordWise Toastmasters Club is one of the unique club, not an advanced club, but the unique club that has the literary content, and anyone who attends it for the first time is attracted to attend it for the second time as well. And that's the reason we all are here. And I'm very glad that our club growth director, DTM Samir, accepted our invitation and is joining us in our keynote. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. So with this, I just hand over the charge to our Toastmaster of the day, DTM Talha. He has the founding member and the brain behind this club. So you can imagine how creative he is. And inshallah, we'll be witnessing an amazing meeting ahead. Thank you, DTM Talha, for taking the role as TMOD. And let's begin the meeting. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Uh, it is an honor and privilege to be at this juncture where we have the 83rd meeting of our advanced club, and also on a very important date because the subcontinent is celebrating its Independence Day, and there's an air of pride and jubilation uh, which we can all use. So, before going further, I would respectfully ask for some introductions so that we can get to know each other, starting with our club growth director, DTM Samir Viran. Since at this point we just know you as our CGD, perhaps it would be a good idea if you could introduce yourself a little bit.
First of all, thank you, and happy Independence Day for both the subcontinents. As I can tell you that, first of all, let me acknowledge our presiding officer, DTM Asmanas. She made an open invitation for me to join this club. As you know that, being CGD, a lot of things pressures are going on. At 11:30, I have another meeting back. Anyway, let's take this back and also welcome our education and training co-chair, DTM Talha, for being with us. I'm DTM Samir, and not to have much introduction about it, that I have been in Toastmasters past 8 or 9 years, been served as an area director, division director, and then came back to club group director. And it's we have to take pride in ourselves, saying that, you know what, we are a district now which has 144 clubs right now, 144 clubs. And what I'm talking about is we have almost 2,560 members. 2,560 members is not a small thing, you know that. It's a huge thing. When you take about the payments, it becomes like more than 5,045 payments every year when you consider 2 payments. So it's a huge responsibility that's going to come with this year. It's a real challenge to manage back. As you know that we are geographically very far away, but still our hearts and emotions are together as a Toastmaster. So let's keep that emotion together and be together and see what we can do for our district. And also to make sure that, you know, in total all over the world, we have almost 195 countries. 195 countries. From 195 countries, Toastmasters are there in more than 150 countries. Just imagine that how it's going, and it's more than 150 countries in the world where Toastmasters are there. So we have to take pride in ourselves being a Toastmaster, and let's take this to the next level. And if you want to know more about it, we can have on to personal discussions later on. And not to lose my time, I'll hand it over back to Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Talha, DTM Talha.
Thank you so much, DTM Samir. So now about a little bit about the club. WordWise Advanced was founded, I think, 3 years ago now, and it is one of the three advanced clubs in Pakistan. And the idea behind this club was to not only celebrate literary excellence in all languages and cultures of the world, but also to help create it. So, to that end, we have some very unique segments in addition to the routine Toastmasters segments. Uh, the meeting will, and we've named those segments like the chapters of a book. So, this is right now the foreword, which is the TMOD opening. After that, there will be Let's Word It assignment, which means that our extempore writing curator will be assigning the topic for extempore writing, and she will also be explaining what the segment is all about. After that, there's another category that we invented, keynote dialogue. So usually the keynote is by one person, but this time this will be a dialogue. This is something we carry over from Quantum Leap Advanced Toastmasters Club, where we've had several dialogues. In fact, Nitya Swarna from Singapore is a founding member of Quantum Leap, so she came up with this idea of having a dialogue as a keynote. It will be based around the notable literary works from India and Pakistan. Can't wait for that. After that, we'll have a Pathways speech from Toastmaster Noshin Yasser. This will be followed by table topic session by Toastmaster Rana Siddiqui, uh, which will then be followed by book review and interpretive reading. Again, uh, some someone, I'm sure DT Samir and someone others who have been in Toastmasters uh, for a number of years. You would remember there was a manual called uh, interpretive reading, and that was transformative for me as a Toastmaster. So this is a little bit of an attempt to bring that magic back. Uh, After that, we'll have the Let's Word It recitals, the extempore pieces of writing that you would have written for 3 to 5 minutes, which will be recited. And then we'll have our journal evaluation, and finally there will be the epilogue, which is our name for presidential closing. So I will also be acting as the timer of the meeting, and in the interest of time, since everyone is an experienced Toastmaster here, I won't explain that role. However, I will invite our language evaluator, Toastmaster Fazl Akbar, to explain his role and also the word of the day. Over to you, Toastmaster Fazl.
Hello, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Uh, as a language evaluator, just like the role of the grammarian in any Toastmaster club, I will be evaluating the language usage, the good and bad usage of English grammar and English, and I will note down all the good usage and also all the bad usage and report it to the general evaluator. And am I supposed to describe the word of the day as well?
Yes, yes.
I uh, actually I don't know about it myself. My bad. Toastmaster Asma, can you please help me out?
The word of the day is rapprochement, and it's mentioned on the agenda, and it's a noun. It's pronounced as rapprochement or rapprochement, and the meaning is the re-establishment of warm, friendly, or cordial relations between countries, groups, or people who were previously fighting or unfriendly. So the sentence that I've mentioned in the agenda is her diary chronicled the slow, painful rapprochement with her past mistakes. The second sentence, a fragile rapprochement bloomed between the estranged brothers under the quiet gaze of the winter moon. So this was the idea of relating to the theme, and I had discussed with you, Toastmaster Fazl Akbar, if you have any other word. So we have
Yeah,
this word,
thank you
rapprochement.
so much. Thank you so much. The word of the day is rapprochement, and I request everyone to please this word of the day at maximum when you are you have the speaking opportunity. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much. We also have another role that is not usually part of WordWise, but we thought that it would be great for this special meeting. So, DTM Asma, could you please explain the role of super listener?
Yes, and my task is to make people awake or test it at the end of the meeting, that how people were active during the meeting. So I'll be noting down interesting sentences or phrases or anything I note uh, during the meeting. And at the end of the meeting, while submitting my report, I'll ask the words or sentences or phrase or any facts that I noted during the meeting. And members were supposed to guess it, who spoke what and what was the fact. And so this way I will be testing the active listening of our members. Thank you.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Asma. So now on to the theme of the meeting, the pale blue dot. You can see the picture behind me. It is a historic artifact and a very significant picture. It was taken by some of the Apollo astronauts when during the moon mission, and that establishes two facts. The first is that whatever happens between us, the wars, the peace, the treaties, the disagreements, the arguments, everything is concentrated on this pale blue dot, and which we are forced to share, by the way. So, this is a thought behind the theme that uh, as you can see, this pale blue dot also has demarcations and borders, but they're joined with each other. So a bit of separation is perfectly fine. It's even necessary for humanity, but it should not be at the expense of each other. It should be in the spirit of living and serving this planet and this species together. The second significance is, notice how tiny the Earth is. And that is also something unique that I want to highlight. Earth's moon is completely unique and completely against the rules, against the conventions of other planetary objects. It is roughly one fourth the size of Earth, which is actually an anomaly. No other planetary moon matches Earth's moon in certain terms of size and proportion. It is so huge that it affects Earth's gravitational fields, it affects our seas, it affects our weather systems. Secondly, no other moon is as far away from its mother planet as the moon is. And let me tell you an incredible fact. In the distance between the Earth and the Moon, you could fit all the other planets of the solar system. It is that huge. And that is why Earth is just a pale blue dot compared to the distance between the Earth and the Moon. Because between the Earth and the Moon, you could fit Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune together. And still there would be some different distance left. So think about it. No matter how far the Moon is, it is bound by Earth's gravity. No matter how far we are from each other, no matter how far our loved ones go, they are bound by the gravitational power of love. So that is food for thought. And with this, it is time for me to give the stage to Toastmaster Mushin Yasser, who will lead one of the signatures and globally unique segments of WordWise. Uh, we like to call it Let's Word It, and it's all about the extempore writing. So over to you, Toastmaster Mushin Yasser.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes.
Hello, everyone. How are you all?
Great.
Thank you, because there was a long weekend, so I think that everyone must be enjoying their weekend. Welcome to my session, which is called Word Curator. So I'm your word curator for today. And in this session, I would introduce a topic or a word which can enrich your vocabulary and add colors to your communication. So for that, I will introduce a word, we will understand its meaning, and then we will know how to use that word in our daily conversation. For that, I would invite 5 participants who have to write 3 to 5 minutes free speech writing, and then you have to present that report at the end of the session. For that, you have the freedom to write without any time limit, but you have to deliver that report within 3 to 5 minutes. That report may be a story, maybe a reflection, or some powerful words, whatever is convenient to you, but you have to present it in 3 to 5 minutes. For that report, I need 5 volunteers or participants to write their report. So first I see Talha, who else want to join? Talha, Irfan Farooqi Saab, Reha, Asghar, and Fazal. I have 4.
Can I participate being a language evaluator?
Everyone can participate. I will strongly urge DTM Samir, if you could try your hand at it, I think you'll discover something about yourself that you never knew before. That's a guarantee.
Thank you.
So if you could
Thank
try
you.
it,
1, 2, 3,
So,
4, 5.
DTM Talha, actually, the issue is, as I said to you, I might leave back at 11:30.
oh, all
So,
right, all right, all right. No worries, sir. No worries.
So I think we have 4 participants: Reha Siddiqui, Talha bin Hamid, Fazal Akbar, Irfan Farooqi Saab, and Asghar. So let me introduce the
I
word
also
of.
wanted to, I also.
Okay, so we have more Asma as well. So as our theme is the pale blue dot, so I have aligned my topic with that theme. And the word is humankind, and which means all the humans collectively. And your challenge is, if you could leave one message for humankind to read 100 years from now, what it would be. I repeat my question. If you could leave one message for humankind to read 100 years from now, what it could be. Or you can rephrase it as, what would be your message to humankind from 100 years to now? Understand? I can write it as,
Can you please repeat your question?
my question is, if you could leave one message for humankind to now, what it would be. It means after 100 years, what would be your message for that generation? Understand? Yes. I can also write it in chat box, so it's easy for you.
All right. Thank you so much for that thought-provoking topic, Toastmaster Noshi. I believe everyone has heard the topic loud and clear. But you know what? I have a complaint. And the complaint is I have a strange sensation that I'm talking to a wall. And you know why that is? Because I am talking to a wall. Please turn your videos, everyone, if you can. Uh, so with that, we move to our next segment, which is, of course, our keynote recital, and it will be presented as a dialogue between DTM Samir Viran, our club growth director and accomplished Toastmaster, having served in various positions, and DTM Muhammad Farooq, our first ever national public speaking champion, and also our national Urdu speech champion. Uh, I believe he is back. Uh, DTM Farooq happens to be a chartered accountant, like all the best people. I don't know, DTM Samir, are you a chartered accountant too? Or
Yes, of course, of course.
incredible?
That's why I say in Toastmasters we see all of them from the finance background. I don't know why.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right. So that is amazing, actually. All right. So, and you know, in before the merger, when we were District 122, there was a rule that out of the trio, at least two, if not all three, will be chartered accountants. So we followed that rule faithfully for 6 years, and the third trio member was always an engineer. So that is also an unwritten rule. So anyhow, so what I what I'll be doing is that I'll be putting in the timer because this is a 40-minute session. I'll be turning on the timer and I'll be highlighting DTM Samir and DTM Farooq. DTM Farooq, if you could turn on your video. Uh, yes. So I'll first highlight both of you, and the timing counter you can see on my window. Of course, I'll be showing cards as well at the 30-minute, 35-minute, and 40-minute mark. So with that, I hand over the charge to DTM Samir Viram and DTM Mohammad Farooq.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam.
First of all, let's welcome all of the leaders who are present here and thanks for DTM Asma for giving me this opportunity to be among you all today. It's really challenging to say that we have a dialogue between this because since I'm not much into the literary or this type of thing, I've already had a chat with our other speaker, DTM Muhammad Farooq, about it yesterday night because till yesterday I was pretty busy and DTM Asma told me that if you have some presentations, do come with the presentations. But unfortunately, I didn't have any presentations with me. I can just talk about it. So before talking about it, let me understand one thing and let me say to you and make you understand what exactly it is. See, once a father and a son was sitting in a room and the son was looking at the globe which was in front of him and he asked his father, Father, who made all these lines in the globe? You know, it was full of lines from here, left, right, left. So father said, for sure, son, this is not God who made it. It is the people who made these lines. They made the differences. They made all this difference in this globe. Because this can be said by, what he said next one was, he said the rivers that flow back from China, Tibet, comes to India, goes back to Pakistan, and even it flows back again. Nobody is going to stop it. There is no boundary for that. You cannot stop a water saying that, no, this won't be going. So whatever God made things, it flows back all the way around. Take the case of the Himalayan mountain ranges. It starts back from India, goes to Pakistan, goes back to, Bhutan and Tibet and all this way around. So whenever we say that there are boundaries that are all made by human beings, as a human mind, mankind, what they said now, we are one, and the emotions are always connected to this. So whenever we say about it, when we go back to the literacy, what the kind of things that we are having. To start with me, the first I would like to say about it is about, I think all of them might be knowing about Mirza Ghalib. All of them are must familiar with Mirza Ghalib because he's a person who lived back in India and was a person who died back in Pakistan. All of them knows about the stories of Mirza Ghalib. And to let me know about his writings and his things, he was really a witty guy, you know. Maybe most person, I don't know whether they know about him personally. He's a very witty guy. Once he's always, his favorite fruit he used to eat was mangoes. So he used to eat a lot of mangoes. And there was a friend of him who dislikes mango. He always used to say, "Why, Mirza, you are eating so much mango? Why you like it?" And he wants to cross on him. Once, after eating the mango, Mirza Ghalib, he left the one to the seed of it down back, you know, and one donkey was coming sniffing it, and the donkey did not eat this, and he left. So the friend told Mirza, "See, even the donkeys doesn't like mangoes." Within a bit, he said, donkeys doesn't like mangoes. He meant to say his friend, you know. And the whole room was completely, you know, first they didn't understand what it was, what he meant to say. But later on, understanding that, okay, they came to know that really how witty he was. So there are people who contributed a lot after the post 1947. You know, a thing that it could be said. The other person that whom I want to say, and his work is Kushwant Singh. Kushwant Singh is a guy who wrote a book called The Train to Pakistan. It was during 1949-50 period. And really, it gives you an extra example of things, what happened during the partition. And it is a clash between what you call, say, as a modernity and a tradition. The traditional things and the modernity, how things were. So this was so much of read book all over the world, especially in the subcontinent, that they started to make a movie out of it, and they made a movie which ran like a lot of time back in India, in fact. So these are the things that we want to say, and I will be taking you back the next session, whatever we'll be having it. I will hand it over to my counterpart, DTM Muhammad Farooq, to take it over from here. To have a dialogue later on.
Thank you. Thank you very much, DTM Samir. And you rightly mentioned Khushwant Singh about his work, Train to Pakistan. This is the one of the prominent work in our post-partition and pre-partition era, like 1946 to 1950. When I was thinking about this subject, I thought we speak usually about poetry. We know Faiz, we know Ahmad Faraz, we know Parveen Shakir, we know Ilham Iqbal and Ghalib and Mirza Mir. And we talk a lot about. So today I chose to honor our prose writers, which are huge and they are somehow neglected. So if I allow to share my screen, this is because just we have 40 minutes, so I prepared a 40-minute speech, something, and you'll see how diversified it is, how diversified our literature horizon is in Pakistan, if I say. And I covered both languages. We wrote in English, we wrote in Urdu, so both languages are notably we have the work. So this is the horizon. If you see how wide it is. So we started with Afsana, the short story. Afsana came from West. It is not our the India, Pakistan, or subcontinent product. It is came from West through this progressive movement. There was a Tarakki Pasand Adab progressive movement. They bring back this genre to our Urdu language. Then we had novels, then Anglophone literature we had. Then a new genre was established post 47, the TV drama or radio drama. Then the historical fantasies. Then another genre was developed. What this is called a digest literature. in Urdu and English both. And there was my favorite, spy literature, and the last but not the least is humor. So see how many big names we have in each of the genre. If you see Afsana, the most important, never to forget, or the most prominent person is Manto. His work, though his lifespan was very short, but he created the impact on Urdu Afsana that is still today. He is relevant, he is discussed, and he is appreciated. We had Ghulam Abbas. He was the first winner of Adamji Adab Award in Pakistan, 1959. Then we have Ashfaq Ahmed. And Ashfaq Ahmed was not only the Afsana writer. He went into the mystic and the Sufi literature as well. And I will cover it later. Then we have a very significant name is Ahmad Nadeem Qasmi, the person who was born in the village and bring the village life into the urban people. He show how the village life, how the politics, how the society, the complexities, the irregularities, the injustice in the village is happening, and he signifies those things into urban people, the what we call the educated people. And we have a very amazing person in Afsan, and his name is Intizar Hussain. And I would recommend if you could read any passage of Intizar Hussain. It is so sweet, so lovely, so eloquent that you will fall into love with him. He wrote the language in such a majestic and such an eloquent style that if you see that you are not going to sleep and there is a lot of trouble in your life, you just open his book, take any paragraph, read it, and you will feel better. So this is Intizar Hussain, and he was the master of that majestic or the mesmerized literature. In the novels, we have very big names. Shaukat Siddiqui, starting from Shaukat Siddiqui. He was again the winner of Adamji Adabi Award, which was considered the one of the most prestigious and most considered award. Then we have Khurratullain Haider. Now, she is Pakistani and Indian both, because after the partition, she migrated from Lucknow to Karachi. And in 1961, she again went back to India. So Khurratullain Haider is considered the writer from both of the countries. Then we have Mumtaz Mufti, Khadija Mastoor, Banu Qudsiya, and Mustansar Hussain Tarar. Then the very amazing, when I was reading this, and in 1998, I heard a name, Mohsin Hamid, a Pakistani British person who wrote in English and got a Booker Prize. So I was introduced toward this, what Pakistani writers or Pakistani British writers or Pakistani Canadian writers have wrote. So I found Bepsi Sidwa, the famous one, then Mohsin Hamid, of course, and recently we found a very good book by Mohammad Hanif. He also an award-winning book, novel he wrote. So all three has a different flavor. Bepsi Sidwa, you know, the famous movie was made 1948, The Earth. It was adaptation of her novel. Mohsin Hamid wrote two major novels, The Moth Smoke and The Reluctant Fundamentalist. One was in 9/11 background, and the other one was in the 1998 background. And Mohammad Hanif is the political satire. He wrote something which most relevant for the 80s era of Pakistan. Now these three are the classical, I would say, the classical genres. What Pakistan contributed towards literature is they wrote TV dramas. And those TV dramas were such a fantastic and such a literature-wise and the engagement of people, like the popularity versus the eloquence. Those TV dramas were like the golden period of Pakistan television. So we started with, again, Ashfaq Ahmed, then Hasina Moin, Asghar Nadeem Sayyed, then we have Munnu Bai, and Amjad Islam Amjad. And one name, I would not say that she created her own work, but she brought so many adaptations of already famous novels into TV drama. and she is Fatma Suraya Bajia. Because that time the audience was household ladies, and they had a specific popularity towards the feminist novels. And she took all of these novels which were in the book, and her contribution is to take these books into TV drama. So it is a very big contribution that she took the masterpiece of feminine literature at that time in 1970s and 80s, and then she made TV dramas on those novels. For historic fantasies, we know that at post 1975 we had some cultural change in Pakistan. So those fantasies were very much famous at those times in 1970s and 80s. And the very famous name is Naseem Hijazi. He is the person who blended the history into fantasy, and with such a mastery that you can't find where the history ends and fantasy starts, or where the fantasy ends and history starts. So one of his famous work is Akhri Chatan, which was like when the Mongol attacked Baghdad and they after fall of Baghdad, how Muslims reunited and then faced this challenge of Mongol expeditors. So his famous work is Akhri Chatan, but he wrote so many other novels again. Now coming to something which is always debatable in the literature horizon, the digest literature, the popular literature. Now, some people, they don't consider this as a literature, but this is the very much famous literature, like the most read literature, if you call, this is the digest literature. And we have very big names. In 1970, one person started the first digest in Pakistan. His name was Shakil Adilzada. He wrote himself a very long novel, Bazigar, but his contribution was that he translated the masterpiece of West, all languages, whether it's Russian, Turkish, Chinese, or Japanese, even the French or Spanish, and he translated all big works into Urdu language. So this was a big contribution by him. Then we have, of course, A. Hamid. A. Hamid, I see he is classified both. He's a literature person as well as a digest person, because he's famous in both segment of the society. Then we have M.A. Rahat. He is pure a digest person. Then my favorite, and I think all of us remember that Mohyuddin Nawab. He wrote the Alif Lela of modern day, or we call the majestic work of modern day, Devta. And he wrote for 30 years that novel in episodes. For 30 continuous years, he used to write one novel that was continuing generation after generation. And then we have a group of females coming into digest world, starting from Rifat Siraj, then Nigat Abdullah, then the famous one is Umaira Ahmad, Nimra Ahmad. And I remember Irfan Farooqi Saab's sister is also one of the contributor to the digest literature and the female novel literature. So that is the contribution from those people into digest literature. That somehow they connected people to the book. This is the big contribution. Whether they are popular literature, we keep on debating it, but somehow they connected people with the book. Similar things happen to the spy literature. Spy literature is not considered as mainstream literature, but Ibn Safi said that mainstream author books is found in libraries. My books are found on the beds of people. So this is the popularity test by Ibn Safi. So Ibn Safi wrote spy literature starting from 1950 and until his death, 1976-77. He kept on writing. Then Mazhar Kalim took his work and he proceeded with his characters and his theme. And he continued until, I think, 2012 or 13. Another person emerged in spy literature was Ishtiaq Ahmad. He started writing in 1980s, and his focus was kid literature, like literature for the children. But he took the character of Inspector Jamshed, Inspector Kamran, Shoki brothers, and he evolved a whole world around those characters. And I remember I used to wait every month. On 5th of every month, he used to uh, release his new novel. So we used to wait when the 5th of every month will come. Then we had another humor that started just after 47, that is humor literature. And the pioneer of that literature was Petrus Bukhari, but Petrus Bukhari wrote before the partition, so I did not consider him here. But he is called father of humor in Urdu literature. So after Petrus Bukhari, Shaukat Thanvi took his work and he wrote such a wonderful things. And you remember all of these Afsana novels and TV drama, they talk about traumas, like the partition trauma, like the injustice in the society, this and that. But Shaukat Thanvi took those injustice and presented it in a humor way. He made that, okay, everyone is crying, so let me make them laugh. So he came up with this idea and he wrote such a wonderful humor in 50s when everyone was writing about traumas, about partition, about the migration and all. He wrote about the humor. He was one of the migrants, but he took the traumas and converted into humor. Then Mushtaq Yusfi Saab, we call it, it's not a person, it's an era. Because he wrote such a wonderful things, continued from 1960s to his last book came in 2008 or 9. So you see the 40 years of writing humor is not an easy task. But Mushtaq Yusfi Saab did it very well. Then we have Colonel Muhammad Khan and Shafiqur Rahman, both came from army background. Again, the miseries of army, they converted into humor. This is their contribution and their art. Then we have Anwar Maqsood, everyone knows. He came from TV drama, the talk shows, skits, and everything. So after Anwar Maqsood, the humor was taken by Dr. Yunus Butt, and we all know his work. He was a very, I would say, सबसे ज़्यादा लिखने वाले अगर मैं उनको कहूँ, he wrote I think for 20 or 23 books in just 10 years. But his humor is like he saw the society, he observed the minor things in the society and convert them into humor. So these are the people who contributed post-independence evaluation into Urdu and Anglophone literature. And now I will give a very brief about their best work, in my opinion, or the master work they have done. So Mantu Saab wrote Toba Taxi, and there are so many short movies made on this Sana. This is a partition of Sana, how boundaries, that time when they were drawn, what happened to the people who were living on the boundaries. So this is the Sana of that. Then Ghulam Abbas Sahab wrote a very good Sana Anandi. It's the hypocrisy in the society. Then Ashfaq Sahab wrote Gadariya. Intizar Hussain wrote Akhri Admi. And Ahmad Nadeem Qasmi's favorite or the most favorite Sana is Parmeshwar Singh. If we come to novel, the first novel which got Adamji Award is Basti, and a drama was made on this novel by the name of Khuda Ki Basti. So this Basti is Karachi. When the migrants come flooded into the small town of Karachi, what happened to that town and how they survive and how they struggled and how they progress. So this all about those 1950s and 55s era. Then the most famous one novel, I would say the most acclaimed novel in Urdu literature is Aag Ka Darya. That was written by Qurratulan Haider. And when she was in Pakistan, in Karachi, she wrote that novel. It was published, it was acclaimed. Then somehow she decided to move back to India. So Aag Ka Darya is, I would say, if you ask me, take any novel, just if you take one novel from all of the literature, Urdu literature in Pakistan, I would take Aag Ka Darya because it explains 6,000 years history of India in a story manner. It starts from Ayodhya, Ayodhya. Lord Ram was living there. Since then, what happened to Indian civilization, Indian society till the date 1960? So she beautifully summarized this whole history versus the society and how society developed, how society struggled, how society came into being, in form and the form the modern society. Then comes the Alipur Ka Ali. Alipur Ka Ali is not a novel, it's a biography. People say it's a biography, but I call it novel because it has all ingredients, all techniques of novel. But I won't explain it because if I explain, you won't read it. So I would ask you if you have time, because it's the longest novel. It's the longest novel of Urdu literature, around 1200 pages. So it takes time. And I wrote it when I was doing DTM Tala just mentioned I'm chartered accountant. So when I was doing my FE1, like the first term examination of chartered accountancy, so I just came back after the last paper and then I took this novel just to relieve from the miseries of the examination. So Alipur Gaili is one of the famous novel. Then Angan, written by Khadija Mazdoor. Then Raja Gid, one of the very famous novel, and it's a spiritual novel. It's explain the spiritual psychology of a human being when we decide we make a decision. What is happening inside us spiritually, and how we decide things. What is wrong? What is right? This novel is in that background. Then Mustansar Hussain Tarar wrote a very good novel, Bahaw. When a river is getting dry and a civilization is dying, this is the main concept of that novel, Bahaw. We know many civilizations die because the river was getting dried and people had to migrate to some other part of the world. So this calamity and this misery and this challenge he has written in that novel. Come to Anglophone literature, Ice Candyman, as I said, it was very well picturized in 1948, the Earth movie, and Amir Khan was the one of the leading character there. So Ice Candyman was the adaptation of that movie. Moth Smoke, again, a very good novel in modern day Pakistan society, and it is like I would say, a novel is written in a modern day, but it takes his power and his central idea from the Mughal era. So it's very good to read this novel, and you see the calamities, what Aurangzeb did with his brother, how we are doing right now in our political system and in our society system. So it is a very good novel that goes into two different levels. The Reluctant Fundamentalist is written in the post 9/11 trauma. And the case of Exploding Mango is a political satire. It was written on the event or the death of President Zia when he crashed. His plane was crashed, and people say there were mangoes inside it that blasted. So he wrote that political satire on this. TV drama, I would not discuss much because there's a very long list. Hasina Moin wrote almost like in every 5 years she came up with the masterpiece. Ankahi, Angan, Tanhaiya, Dhoop Kinare, whatever you remember from your past. If you are 80s kid, you remember those all family dramas. Asghar Nadeem Sayyed came up with Hawaii, so much famous in that era. Again, on the feudal injustice system in the province of Sindh. Ashfaq and Banu went into mystic and the surprising element of the life, like the things which we cannot explain now, things happening which cannot explain, like the deja vu we say, that I saw something, I feel that it happened before. So he took those small things in the life and they created some of the very mystic words, very majestic and mystic words. Fatma Suraya Barja, as I told, that she took the famous novels, female novels from that era, and she converted them into TV drama. Amjad Islam Amjad again came up. His famous work is Waris. And Munnu Bai, we all know that he used to write single story drama, like a single episode drama. He was very famous in that. And rest of them, uh, I won't go into detail. I already mentioned Shakil Adilzada wrote Bazigar. A. Hamid wrote so many famous novels. And one thing I would tell A. Hamid, if you read A. Hamid, and there is a scene of Sri Lanka. Now he wrote it such a beautiful way that you see from your eyes that tea garden is in front of you and how the environment is there, how the weather is there. He was so much detail oriented that when he created a scene and reader is physically or spiritually taken to that scene. So this was the mastery of Aham. But somehow he did not write much of the literature. He write more of the digest literature. Like he did not write most of the mainstream literature, but somehow he was digest literature and he was very famous at his time. The same thing came with the Mohiuddin Nawab. He wrote a one novel, Devta, and it took 30 years. 30 years, you see 360 episodes. Every month he used to write one episode. So engaging people into that piece of work, it's marvelous. And same thing happened. Ibn Safi wrote 120 novels of spy literature. Mother Kalim wrote around 300 novels. And Ishtiaq Ahmed wrote 600 novels. That is, you see how much he was involved into it, that he wrote 600. And all of his novels are based on the teenager, like the small kids. So there was a values, there was a patriotism, there was a religious guidelines, there was something, and the story element was also there, like how the detective used their work to find that to resolve the case. So these were things which I just summarize in that's a small period of time. I think I'm a bit below within the time limits. So with this, I hand over to DTM Samir. If we can discuss any of these things, or if we can explore any of the element in there, or you can add on something onto this. So over to you, DTM.
Thank you, DT Muhammad Farooq. Really, it was very interesting to know a lot of. Really, I loved your presentation, how you made it, how you divided this genre of the novels and things. Really, it was very very interesting to know to note about these things. What I want to say, what I said when I saw the name of Mohsen Hamid in the Anglophone, actually he had one novel that you already mentioned about the reluctant fundamentalist. The reluctant fundamentalist, actually, it's a I think very rare of the rarest persons who write like this novels. What's the speciality of this novel is it's a monologue. There's no
Yes.
dialogue in that. It's only one person. It's actually like a dialogue between a resident of Pakistan, a guy called Chengiz, and an American guy who came here over here, and they were sitting in a coffee shop and having a conversation. Usually, when there is two person, there is always a dialogue. One says, the other repeats. But in this novel, there is no dialogue. That's strange. I recommend all of them to read this. It's a strange book. A very rare, the rarest person can write a book on monologue when they say just one type of things. In this one, he opens the novel like this way. I am a lover of Pakistan. I was until recently a lover of America, but I was also a lover of Pakistan. And then to this, Changiz reflects, the truth is that we are all fundamentalist. We are all fundamentalist, one kind or the other. So it's like one-sided conversation only. Now, what does it leave you? It makes you think about it. What does it make think about it is that you want to know who is the hero, who is the villain.
Yes.
You cannot make it out. Yes, yes, yeah.
Both are within ourselves.
Yes, and that is what he want to bring out, because it's that's what we as a Toastmaster also we can know one thing about it. We always strive for clarity. We say, okay, it should be clear. But the novel of Mohsen Hamid, it teaches us that sometimes the most powerful speeches is the one that unsettles, questions you, and leaves you thinking always. Like what he said in
Yes.
his novel, that it keeps you thinking who is the villain, who is the hero of these things. The second part, what I liked is about Afsana when you mentioned the name of Sadat Hassan Manto. Really, I love this person. I love his work. That short stories is really something you have to go through it. And if there is a book that you already mentioned about it, Toba Tek Singh, what he usually writes and what his ideology is, what he said, मैं वो लिखता हूं जो मेरा मुल्क नहीं सुन सकता, लेकिन अगर तुम मेरी कहानियां नहीं सुन सकते तो तुम्हारा मशवरा ही नंगा है. You see, it makes you,
Mashra.
yes, makes you think about it, how things are going. He was already, Manto was born in Bombay, and Bombay is famous for its film industries. And there was a lot of literature he wrote about the film industries also from being in Bombay. And this Toba Tek Singh, let me tell you a short thing about this novel. It is a novel that you should read, a short story, I mean, you should read, which says about a madman. He is not willing to go to either to India or to Pakistan. During the partition time, he says, I cannot leave my country. Both are my country. I cannot leave. And people think he's a mad because he is not going to settle back to India or to Pakistan. People are thinking he's a madman. And what happens is really, it gives me goosebumps when I say it. What happens really is the guy goes to the no man's land. No man's land is the way of partition where you have no man's land. It's neither Pakistan nor India. He goes back there, freezes himself, and he felt unconscious. He dies there. That's in the short story. Just believe it. How things work out, and this is what we should think about it. Now, fellow Toastmasters, what I want to say is here: our world is obsessed with dividing lines, but literature laughs at the borders. A ghazal written in Lucknow is always loved in Lahore, or a novel written back in Karachi is always read back in Mumbai or in Bombay. So, what I want to say is, just to conclude my lines and give back to our DTM Mohammad Farooq to conclude his thing, I can just say that if there is a paradise on this earth, it's right here in this room, in these voices that we heard. Let's share this moment of humanity and be kind with each other. Thank you, and back to Toastmaster Mohammad Farooq, DTM Mohammad Farooq.
Thank you, DTM Samir. You summarized wonderfully, and I will just add one thing. When we established this WordWise, what was the thought behind it? That let me share my thoughts with some other, and let them share with their thoughts with me. So when we stop dialogue, when we start dialogue, when we start conversation, then we start understanding each other. Then the differences will vanish, and we will see where the other person point of view is what, and how we can reconcile with them. So this was the theme of every literature. Every good literature goes with this theme, that let me share my thoughts with you sincerely, and give you a chance to share your thoughts with me. So this was the thing, and I would like to conclude on these words. And if audience have any question, I welcome.
Thank you so
We
much.
have few minutes. If we can take few questions.
Thank you so
Farooq
much.
Saab. I would love to read that novel you said about Rajgir, and you said it is about human psychology and spirituality, how we behave. And I am eager to learn and read that now. Thank you for adding in our knowledge. You brought so much to the stage, the dramas, the Khuda Ki Basti, and all those writers. That was when I was little. So that was a wonderful session by you. You are a lot in our vocabulary
Thank,
communication.
thank you.
Thank you for a wonderful session.
I think we all got plenty of food for thought and food for reading out of this session. I was fond of saying before today that perhaps we don't have enough Urdu literature or subcontinent literature, but today I was proven wrong. I think Toastmaster Mohammed Asghar would like to add something to the discussion. Over to you, Toastmaster Asghar.
Well, I just want to thank DTM Mohammed Farooq for his excellent and comprehensive review of the literature. This it covers my school days to my university days. Because I came across various genre, and I really since being a pessimist, I always try to find out some negativity out of every positive person's. I think he somehow mysteriously missed our beloved Aslam Rai with Naseem Ejazi. You know, Naseem Ejazi is not complete with Aslam Rai. But in the same breath, I want to appreciate him for mentioning my most favorite writer who used to write in reader in digests, but he k- kept partly kept himself unknown and partly because people somehow did not appreciate him, and he was Muhyiddin Nawab. He used to write by other names such as Farhad Ali, but I used to read him, and I remembered in my school days recording, reading his novel and recording his novels. Sorry, as short stories. He used to write in Suspense Digest. And then I think we had two compilation of his book. I can remember Kachra Agar, but I just, I want to use my this time allotted to me to appreciate him, just appreciate him without any further comments. That the way he summarized my literary life from my school days to university is amazing. I've seen all those people's, as discussed by our other colleague Samir, the Mohsen Ahmed's book, The Reluctant Fundamentalist. I still have that book, and I still dialogue. I mean, if you read it recently, I can recall a conversation of two characters somewhere in Turkey, and the satirical way they were conversing with each other was really amazing. I don't have any other words to say except thank you for this session. I was hooked up till the end. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So
Yes,
this
very correctly you pointed out. I apologize for missing Aslam Rahi. I don't know why I missed him, but it was just a human error.
It's nothing we say in
Very well.
Toastmasters, we learn by doing, so it's okay.
Yeah,
We learn from
and,
you.
very well.
and of course, no matter, even if we speak for 3 hours, we are bound to miss someone. So both from India and Pakistan, the culture and history is so rich. So, uh, but it is great to
True.
have contribution and reminders from other members of the audience, which shows that they are really, really into the discussion. So, with the
Some of the genre I missed,
yeah,
for the lack of time, but I would like to mention just the names. One is the biographies or autobiographies. That was also very well written in Urdu. The famous one is Shahab Nama and Yadon Ki Barat, the two famous one. And the other one is the travelogues, like the Safarname, that people started from Mustasar Santara to Ibn Insha and to Halil Nainital and all. So these were also
I think ATM Mohammed Farooq uh, is facing some connection issue. So I would like to conclude. Okay. Yeah, DTM Farooq, would you
yeah.
complete your thought, please? You were frozen
You
for a
heard
little bit.
me.
Yeah, you were
You heard.
frozen for a little. So you should repeat your last sentence.
Yes, I just said I just missed two more genres in Urdu literature. One is Safarnama, and the other one is biographies or Sawane Hayat. So that was also a new addition to our literature. These two genres.
So that concludes the time for this session, and I cannot appreciate both of you enough because both of you have tremendously added to our understanding and knowledge of the literature, and also made us feel proud all over again for coming from this place. And I would like to also highlight something that people who know me, they know that I have a wacky sense of humor. So I would like to conclude this, bookend this, by actually quoting an example of a superbly disastrous collaboration between Pakistan and India. Yes, I'm old enough to remember it. the movie Hina. It represented the worst possible display of talent from both sides of the border. From Raj Kapoor films, it displayed atrocious direction and casting. From Pakistan side, it displayed Hasina Moin's worst script ever. And the less said about Zeba Bakhtiar's acting, the better. So, the movie was a super hit. It was welcomed for its message, for its collaborative nature. But sadly, that all lasted until I actually saw the movie. And I had to applaud both the countries for uniting in such a disgrace and trying to outdo each other in achieving low levels of artistic merit. But again, the intentions behind the movie were noble. The story, the acting, the dialogue, the message of unity was there, but unfortunately, sometimes good intentions are not in no way uh, supposed to compensate if you're not good at what you do. So, again, with that humorous note, now it is time for me to move forward. And for our next segment, we have our prepared speech delivered by Toastmaster Noshin Yasser and evaluated by distinguished Toastmaster Fatma Azam Ali. So I hand over the floor now to DTM Fatma to introduce the project and the speech. Over to you, DTM Fatma.
Thank you so much. And what a lovely morning today, uniting two beautiful countries with their works. If there's anything that can reunite countries, that is all about literature, that's all about music, that's all about movies. So now today we have Toastmaster Noshin Yasser. She is presenting her speech from her Pathway Motivational Strategies, Level 3, Project 3, which is Understanding Vocal Variety. The title of her speech is The Voice Within. All the very best, Noshin, and looking forward.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for such nice introduction. So, have you ever experienced a moment when one sentence can change your entire day? Someone said, I believe in you, and you stand a little taller. Someone said, you can't do that. And suddenly you doubted yourself. Same person, different words, and different feelings. So what if understand that the most powerful voice we hear every day is our own voice. We all have that inner voice. Sometimes it whispers, let's try. Sometimes it screams, you are going to fail. And sometimes it says, stay where you are. You are safe here. That voice is your greatest limitation and your greatest strength. Over years, I realized that we spend so much time worrying about what other people think about us. What will they say? What will they talk about me? What if I fail? What if they laugh? What if I made a mistake? We think, we wait for the perfect moment, but that perfect moment never comes. And the greatest problem is that we are afraid of failure, afraid of judgment, afraid of being uncomfortable, afraid of being imperfect. But fears not always limit us. Sometimes it says, this matters to you. Imagine when you did something for the first time you were scared of. You were standing in front of the people who were looking at you. Your palms were sweating. Your heart was racing. Doop, 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 doop. Your legs were shaking, but you did that thing. And then you find that you were stronger than your fear. That is the confidence building. Confidence building is when you take action even when your voice is shaking. You try even you don't know the outcome. You stand up even you are afraid of failing. That is the powerful transformation. When you change your voice from I can't to if I try, I can. But there is another thing which need to be controlled, and that is comparing ourselves to others. Someone might be stronger than us, someone might be more confident than us, someone would be more healthier than us, someone would be at a position where we want to dream of for that position. But remember, your only competitor is you, the person you were yesterday and the person you are today. Because progress, even small, is still a progress. So when you feel, what is your inner voice telling you? Does it say you are not enough? Or it says to you, you can. So when you feel that moment in life and you are confused and you are afraid to take action, just stand in front of the mirror. Don't look at your weaknesses. Look in your eyes and say it to yourself. I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in you. Because sometimes that changes our life is our own voice. Listen to that voice. Thank you. Over to you. Over to you, TM Talha.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I was lost there for a moment. Apologies. Uh, thank you for that speech, Toastmaster Noshin. As always, beautiful and inspiring and engrossing. And from the voice within to the voice without, we move to our next session, something that is not a usual feature of WordWise meetings, but today it is a special occasion, so we have a table topic session, and it will be spearheaded by Toastmaster Rehana Siddiqui. So over to you, Toastmaster Rehana.
Thank you, DTM Atalha Hamid, for such an amazing introduction. Good morning, everyone. My fellow Toastmaster and distinguished members and honorable guests, Assalamu alaikum. When I first saw the agenda and heard about the theme, and with my understanding, and I believe when we look at Earth from the vastness of space, our planet appears as nothing more than a tiny blue dot. And from that distance, the borders between the countries disappear. And that connects beautifully with today's focus on literature from India and Pakistan, because I strongly believe that literature is a way of reminding us that beyond borders and differences, people often share the same emotions, same hopes, same fear, and same dream. Also, I believe that literature is one of the ways we can achieve that rapprochement by allowing us to see the human being behind the borders. So, before starting the segment, I would like us to think about our shared world, our shared stories, and the ways literature connects with us. So, shall we start? Okay. Now, I have prepared a few questions to enhance your impromptu speaking skills. So, be ready, everyone. My first question. So, can I ask first question? Can I ask first and invite anyone, or first invite someone?
It's entirely up to you. Usually, we invite someone first and then tell them the
Okay,
topic
okay,
because that's truly extempore thinking, right?
okay, okay. So I recommend. I think Muhammad Asghar. Are you with us, Muhammad Asghar? Uh,
I'm
can
always
I
with.
ask?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, okay. Yes. Okay. My question is, I have prepared some funny question and some serious questions. So, first of all, I want to ask some, not so much serious, normally. If you recommend one book, one poem, or one writer from India or Pakistan to someone who has never experienced literature before, what would you choose and why? May I repeat my question?
Yeah, I,
Oh,
I almost got it. I try to respond it
yes.
due to lack of time. Well, I mean, you want me just one author, right? Not
Yes.
one from India and one from
Yes,
Pakistan.
one book, one poem or writer.
Oh,
Only
yeah.
one.
Oh, yes. I really don't know it's a funny question or a serious question, but let me think about it. I usually take 2 seconds to process. I'm a laggard, which Irfan Farooqi doesn't believe me. Um, uh, uh, um, um, I think if I can pick someone from India, she's a political author. I mean, she writes novels, but I like her political ideas more than her novels, though I have read her because, I was attracted towards her because of her political ideas. But then I, of course, started to read all as book, including her novel. She is someone called Arundhati Roy. She is currently, I mean, she is famous for her latest book, Mother Mary Comes to Me. She writes about her agonizing mother. It seems to me that she is writing about her mother-in-law rather than her mother, because in this whole book she described her mother negatively, but at the same time she said that she cannot be without her. It was a very interesting semi-autobiography of her. Apart from her book, she also wrote at least two novels. I have read them, these novels, and I think she would be the one that I would like to pick. But from the novels, are less famous book, because she is famous for her novel, not for her political ideas. Ironically, I like her because of political ideas, and she wrote, rather than the compilation, they are not the single book, but the compilation of her various writing published in various magazines and newspapers. I read them more than their novel, but because of the love of her political ideas, I also read as novels and semi-autobiography. That is how I can respond to you, Reha Siddiqui. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, TM Asghar. That was interesting perspective, such as okay. Now I am moving to another question. And who is volunteer? I think can I invite DM Samir? May I invite you?
Yeah, sure, no problem. I have been speaking
Okay,
last long time. It's okay. By another two
okay,
minutes.
okay. My question is for you. My question is, if aliens were observing Earth from space and could see everything we do for one day, what is the first thing you think would make them say, "Yep, these humans are definitely weird"? May I repeat my question?
Yeah. Repeat it.
Okay. If aliens were observing Earth from space and could see everything we do for one day, okay? What is the first thing you think, in your observation, what is the first thing would make them say, "Yep, these humans are definitely weird"?
Yeah. Thank you, Toastmaster Reha Siddiqui. To take it back in a humanly way, I can say that whenever the aliens will be thinking, seeing us from their part to this world, when you see human beings and they see the sufferings of human being, they being an alien, they don't have any sufferings. They think so because they don't have that type of human consideration or humankind that we are facing as a human beings back in the earth. They would really definitely feel that there is something, that it's a weird thing about being an human being, when they see from there, especially the sufferings of the people, the poor people. Believe me, when they see that human being, the poor people, if you have seen them, I don't know, I have seen it personally, going back to that dustbins and eating it from the dustbins themselves, whatever they could see. And this makes a very weird case of being a human. And this is for that, we all are responsible for that. I mean, we all should take care of that it doesn't happen back in at least in our neighborhood. But in our neighborhood, we have seen people, and if this has been washed by the aliens back from their world or wherever they are, they will definitely share, wow, it's something weird about it, because nobody does like that, even it's except that not human beings, except the animals and the other living beings, they might be doing it. But from the perspective of an human being, it's really difficult to see people going back and getting it their daily needs from whatever has been put on the waste. It's so I think that could be the weirdest thing. And the second thing is that about the blue dot that we mentioned about it. There's another blue dot, that what's the other blue dot? It's in your navigation. Whenever you have to navigate, there's a blue dot always telling you, guiding you, go there, left, right, right. And this blue dot is where nowadays we all depend upon. Wherever you want to go, we depend upon the blue dot. Even though you know the way straight where it goes you, but we depend on that blue dot always. Back to table topic master. Thank you.
Thank you, TM Samir. That was such amazing thoughts from you. And now I would like and I would love to invite DTM Irfan Faruqi. Sir, are you there?
Yes.
Yes, he's.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yes. I have a question, don't worry. It's not very difficult. Okay. Do you think literature can bring people close together even when politics and history divide them? Why or why not? May I repeat my question?
No,
Okay.
no need. What is the division? When we say literature, can literature bring people who are divided in boundaries? And is there any part in the world where there is no boundary? Is it a boundary between India and Pakistan that is a boundary? Or there is a boundary between Lahore and Karachi also, Lahore and Peshawar also, Calcutta or Kolkata or Mumbai also, Kerala and Kashmir, England and America, Oxford and London, Boundaries are always there. People from one place to a smaller distance are different. They have their own culture. They have their own thoughts. They have their own way of living. But this positive mindset, that is something that can bring people together. You may live thousands of miles away from one another. Literature is the positive mindset. It is the soft way of thinking, not the harsh way, not the fighting tones, the soft tones that bring people together. We should accept that I am Pakistani. A lot of my friends are Indian. I am a member of a club in India. They wanted me to be the president of their club this year. I was busy. I said, sorry. What makes us close to each other? Acceptance of what we are. And then making close to one another through literature and soft wordings. Table topic master.
Thank you, DTM Irfan Faruqi. Such an amazing thought. And thank you very much. My new question, and I would love to invite DTM Talha. DTM Talha,
All right.
are you ready? Okay. My question is, imagine you are looking at Earth from space. Okay? Imagine now, current now. Imagine you are looking at Earth from space. What problem that seems extremely important to us today might suddenly look insignificant from that distance? Can I repeat myself?
Yes, repeat the last part of your question, please.
Okay. Imagine you are looking at Earth from space. What problem that seems extremely important to us today might suddenly look insignificant from that distance?
All right. Now I get it. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I believe I speak for many of us when I say that the biggest problem in our lives seems to be our work and our bosses. Everything else pales in comparison, and there's no possibility of rapprochement, in fact. Every new day is a new challenge, and no matter how good you get, in fact, there's no escaping for you. If you're good at your work, your boss will hate you. If you're bad at your work, the boss will hate you. If I am at a place where I'm looking at the earth and it appears like a pale blue dot, the first thing I would think about would be the possibility of maybe directing a little asteroid in the dead of the night towards my office building and damaging its roof so that we can get off for a few days. But other than that, yes, if I look at the earth from the distance and look at it like the pale blue dot that it is, all our human disputes and disagreements do pale in comparison because we are looking at things from a cosmic scale. We are looking at something that is billions of years old and will live on for billions of years too, with or without us, right? So, what really makes us question is what do we give mind space to? Do we let our mind be occupied with trivial disputes with other human beings? Or shall we think about the really big problems that we're facing? At the pale blue dot stage of the earth, we could see rivers and oceans and clouds and the earth's atmosphere. So, shouldn't that be our focus? The very ground that we stand upon, rather than our petty disagreements, which will not matter tomorrow or day after. What will matter is actually the longevity of the earth that we are upon. Over to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, DTM Talha. Such an amazing answer. And awesome speech delivery. So we have done 4 questions, I think. Now, can I add one more, or is this okay?
We can go for one more. We have 1 minute.
Okay, we can go for 1 minute. Okay. And who is voluntary?
I think,
Fatima?
yeah,
Fatma?
perhaps, yeah.
Okay, Fatma, are you here? Okay,
Yes,
okay,
dear.
okay. My questions are a little bit different, but it is both feelings. You sometimes it convert into funny and sometimes it's serious. So yes,
I hope I get the funny one, the
yes,
serious
yes,
one.
yes. I have funny. Yes, I have plenty of funny. Okay. Your question is, if you could have a conversation with any literary figure from India or Pakistan, living or historical, who would you choose and why?
Well, that was not
May
a
I?
funny question.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. I have another question.
Mhm.
It is, if you could remove all national borders from only one day, what is the one thing you would want people from India or Pakistan to experience or learn from each other?
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Raha, for that insanely amazing question. Even more, making this question so relevant to our day for today. Yeah, like yesterday we had the Pakistan's Independence Day, and today we have the India's Independence Day, and India became independent after 12. Pakistan was independent first, which is very interesting. In my opinion, per se, there shouldn't be any borders. Borders are just physical limitations. Once you actually add that border to your mind, that is the real border, right? If I feel that there is a border that is limiting me to interact with my neighbors, technically, it is not about the physical borders, it's all about the mental borders. But if there was one thing I were to do by removing those borders, which is entirely possible, by the way. I would not have to rely on the Indian or the Pakistani government to actually say, you know what, we'll remove the borders and we'll experience some kind of culture or, or people or help each other. No. I believe the kind of border I would like to remove is the border we have right here. I would like that to be removed. And I believe today, the way we have synchronized this entire meeting, the way your club has taken this beautiful initiative to bring in the works, the literary works of both Pakistan and India, I think and I believe that you have already taken up the initiative. So thank you so much. And over to you, our table topics master.
Thank you, Fatma, and an interesting answer. And now we are concluding our session of table topic and such an amazing session. And I would like to hand over the stage, virtual stage, to TMOD. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rana, for a beautiful table topic session. And shockingly, as the timer of the meeting as well, I'm amazed to report that we are on time. So, kudos to our VP Education for creating an agenda that ensured that we are on time. Kudos to all the role players who stayed within their time limits. I'm launching the poll for best table topic speaker. Of course, everyone qualified, so please vote for your best favorite table topic speaker. And now it is time for our signature segment, book review and interpretive reading. And for that, we hand over the stage to Toastmaster Mohammed Asghar. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. The book I brought for review is called Distancing. So now this book is not a unique one. I'm not revealing anything. It is basically a series of book which tells you be with yourself, be fully present, be in the moment. The central idea of this genre, I really don't know if we call it personal improvement or self-improvement or whatever it is. But the mantra is same. We react on impulses. We need to get, we usually get caught up in the moment. We can't see the forest for the tree. So what we need to do? Of course, we need to step away from our problem and remove ourselves from the situation by creating a distance. Why? Because this distance gives us a perspective and reframe the situation and the way we process it mentally so we can make a better position. In other words, the central idea of this book is we view ourselves and our words through the eyes of our own eyes, the eyes of our own egos, not the eyes, our our perspectives, and our biases in a way that flatter ourselves rather than antagonize us. This is something psychological. Now, why I pick this particular book, which is already up, the book of this genre is already available in the market. I think perhaps for three reasons. It doesn't talk in abstract or in theory, but with actionable examples, with tangible tools in the real world. I have read those examples and I'm trying to practice it. Secondly, it talks about the tough decision in the high stake environment. For example, why Amazon owner Jeff Bezos, if I'm not wrong, left as lucrative job and opened his own company. This is a tough decision when you leave a lucrative job doing something else which is unknown and you just do it with the expectation that you could do it in a better way. Or the third thing, I think I picked this book because it is perhaps timely. Today we have a flood of information. We don't know what to do. We don't know how to differentiate one thing or one information from the other. Now, the last part of this book that I'm presenting it, why you want to read this book. I think number one, it provides stories from Jeff Bezos and to a South African farmer in order to bring the point together or wave the theory with the practice. That is one thing I want you or any of you who is listening me to read this book. Number two, I believe that distancing, this is my personal experience, that this distancing will change the way we or you approach the decision making. Why? Uh, when I focused about this distancing, I create an ultra learning. I found that it sharpened my focus and broadened my perspective. And then deepen the impact that I want to create. So, if you want to lead your life with curiosity, thinking with courage, and decide with confidence, I think you need to read this book. But once you are reading, you have to read it with curiosity and open mind because we are a prison of our previous experiences. I think my time is up. So over to you, DTM Tala.
Thank you so much. Your time was not up. You still had 5 minutes to go. So if
Oh,
you wish to add something, please go ahead.
no. I just saw the color of the animations. So what I want to do is that I also experienced this. I actually wanted to read certain paragraph of my books, but the moment I saw the light, I lost those paragraph. I wanted to read some at least some aspects. Now I would like to finish it because I've taken out the flags. So over to you now.
All right. What can I say? Thank you for misinterpreting the green light as red light, and as usual, placing the blame on me. You lost your place. Admit it. All right. Being such an experienced Toastmaster, how can you take the green light for ending of your time? So, but would have loved to hear you read the paragraphs from the book. And so, uh, or distancing comes across to me again. Thank you for adding that to our vocabulary, this book, because you always uh, bring very interesting thoughts and ideas to these sessions. And this curiously reminds me, first of all, distancing also reminds me of course, the theme of the meeting, because you'll see the earth as a pale blue dot only when you're distant from it. But secondly, for some strange reason, it also reminds me of Star Trek and Captain Spock, who was a counterpoint to the human Captain Kirk. The Vulcans operate on pure logic. So, if you're talking about stepping outside one's ego, stepping outside one's biases, one's emotions, and as Toastmaster Azgar said, uh, stepping outside the prison of your past experiences, you're able to make perfectly rational decisions. But again, what are those perfectly rational decisions? One rational decision, once again, another science fiction reference from 2001 A Space Odyssey. The computer takes over the ship and decides that the astronauts are not acting in line with their mission, so it decides to take over and it decides to essentially murder the astronauts. So it is a thing of curiosity, logic, and distancing. It can cut both ways. But one thing is for sure, I think the ideal decision making scenario lies somewhere between our overly emotional and biased selves and the cold calculation of a machine. So here's hoping for human machine hybrids to make the decisions for us, because essentially that's what needed. So now we move on to our next session, which is a recital of the extempore writing segment. And for that, I hand over the charge back to DTN, Toastmaster Noshin Yasser. So over to you, Toastmaster Noshin.
Thank you, DTM Talha. Welcome back to our session. And now it's just time to recite or deliver your writing. So I would like to invite all participants to deliver their presentation. So who want to go first? Anyone who want to go first?
If no one else is going, I would like to
I'm
go.
ready.
Okay, okay, DTM.
Toastmaster Asgar, you go first.
Okay. Toastmaster Asgar, stage is yours.
Uh, Thank you very much. But they are the scattered ideas, always remember. Well, keeping the idea that you provide for thought to us, let me start from um, addressing the humankind, dear. So, dear humankind, please don't mind, but I'm writing to you the most exciting time from the universe. You surely will be more intelligent, technology savvy, but we experienced more exciting time than you and seen radical transitions. I, growing up in a rural area, was without electricity, pipe water, landline telephone, unmetalled road. and we used to drink water from the pond, a nearby pond. I saw my first picture when I was in class 8 because that was necessary for our board exam. You will not believe this. Then we experience electricity, modern washroom, ultra mobile phone, bottled water, etc. And please don't mind, you will be less creative than your preceding generation, us, because we are less creative from our previous generation. And I know this because my previous generation was more creative, even under the horrible conditions. Our literature, art, wisdom were borrowed from them. We are not the original creator of them. I know you will progress, but your progress will be margin. So if you have a time, put a mirror in front of you and loudly say, I believe in you, but with the marginal benefit. Over to you, Noshin Yasir.
Thank you. It was wonderful recital of your ideas and the feeling that we should believe in us. So now let's move to our next participants. Who want to go first?
If I can go,
Yes, Talha. Over to you.
thank you so much. So, uh, I wrote this as a poem and as a letter to the future generations. And imagine that they're reading it 100 years, 1,000 years from now. All right. So, this is my letter to them. Hello, my great grandsons and daughters. This parched earth was not always thus, a place of forest and emerald waters. Until your elders, we fell in lust. The lust for concrete, the love for smoke, the unholy infatuation with asphalt black, the reverence for spears of glass and steel, the greed for more stack upon stack. I know you wonder loud and often, what is life's worth? Crawling in ruins, a sulphur sky upon your heads, each sunset just gloom upon doom. The air that chokes was once alive. The water that reeks was sweet as honey. There were seasons and moods and eras. There were animals and insects and trees. What are those? I hear you ask. Well, have we got a surprise for you? Terabytes of videos, texts, and recordings proving that all that was once true. We were meticulous, got to give us that. Preserving every detail of our love, preserving every little detail of our lives. Whatever we said, ate, or killed, make sure to click subscribe and like. Each one of us ate for 10 souls. Our heads tore the clouds, our feet the earth. We had gods, but we didn't worship them. Our only God was our self worth. The newest phone, the latest wear, the largest house, the shiniest car. Our sky was so littered with satellites that we neither saw nor missed the stars. As we lived on, the earth died. Whatever we made, unmade something else. We didn't see a planet, we saw raw material, while we built mountains and mountains of wealth. This might come as a shock, or it may not. Never for once we thought about you. We saw our lifetimes, and that was all. No one will follow us, we secretly knew. Yet there you are, horrified, agape, asking us, what the hell were we thinking? Haha, you give us too much credit. Had we thought at all, you wouldn't be sinking. As you suffocate in the carbonic air, and walk the chemical infested grounds. Try to scavenge starved, toxic life. You wish, don't you, that we were around? For in our videos, in our books, the world is like an absolute dream. Everyone is healthy, carefree, and well fed, while you don't have the strength to stream. I would say, forgive us, but alas, too little, too late, too selfish, too lame. So I have a serious suggestion for you. Since we are dead anyway, all the same, what I say may save the day. It may even give you a good life, or it might merely enhance the doom. In any case, it sure is worth a try. Build a device that can travel through time and select someone cold of heart to travel back to the here and now and end us all in a nuclear blast. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Won- Wonderful, wonderful. It was lovely recital, lovely. You cover so much. Thank you very much for such a nice delivery. And now I would like to move our next participant. Irfan Faruqi sir, would you like to please go?
All right, I can. I was just refining my writing, but
Yes.
okay, whatever it is now. The question I would leave for humanity in 2126. If I were to leave one message for humanity 100 years from now, I would not tell them what to do. I would leave them with a question. And that question has been troubling me. When humanity no longer has to struggle for survival, what will it struggle for? Perhaps that sounds strange today. We struggle for food, security, health, education, employment, and a better life. Much of human history has been shaped by scarcity. We compete because there is not enough. We protect ourselves because we are vulnerable. We form groups because we feel safer with people like ourselves. Perhaps this is one reason human history has been a history of both cooperation and conflict. But imagine that 100 years from now, technology has transformed this equation. Imagine that machines produce most of what humanity needs. Artificial intelligence solves problems that today require thousands of human minds. Energy is abundant. Medicine has eliminated disease. Perhaps even poverty, as we understand it today, has largely disappeared. Then I ask the future generation, what has happened to human being when survival is no longer the central problem? And this is where my deliberation becomes uncomfortable. Perhaps our greatest problem has never really been scarcity. Perhaps it has been the human desire to define ourselves against someone else. We say, I'm this, therefore I'm not that. We are this nation, they are other nation. We belong to this religion, they belong to another. We believe this, they believe something else. We are right, they are wrong. And gradually, the difference between I am not like you and you are my enemy becomes dangerously small because we refuse to accept others as they are. Perhaps humanity has spent thousands of years solving the problem of survival while never fully solving the problem of belonging. We want to belong, but we also want our groups to be superior. And perhaps that is one of the deepest contradiction of humanity nature. We need the other human beings, yet we fear the other human beings. We seek connection, yet we love boundaries. I will ask, has technology solved the problems? I don't think the answer will be a yes. Technology can connect billions of people, but it cannot make them understand one another. Perhaps that is the message I would leave behind for humanity 100 years from now. You may conquer space, you may conquer disease, you may conquer scarcity, you may create intelligence greater than your own, but do not forget to conquer the oldest frontier of all, the distance between one human being and another. Because when humanity finally learns to cross that distance, perhaps that will be the moment when we can truly say we have become civilized. Back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Irfan Farooqi Saab. It was a very thoughtful delivery, and you truly said that what we need in the future is that human connection, and that technology cannot bring that human connection. That will only bring back human to human. So thank you very much. Now let's move to another participants. Asma, are you ready?
Yes.
Yes. Over to you.
Thank you. So, 100 years from now, good afternoon now. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. Perhaps humans are living on Mars. Perhaps artificial intelligence has transformed our lives. Perhaps technology has solved many problems we struggle with today. But I would ask the people of 2126 one simple question. With all the progress you have made, have you learned to understand one another? Because if I could leave just one message for humanity, 100 years from now, it would be this. Before you judge someone, give them 70 excuses. There is a beautiful moral teaching in our Islamic, what our Islamic scholar says, and I have searched it. It's by Imam Jafar, that when someone's word or action seems wrong or hurtful, don't immediately assume it that the word. Look for an excuse, then another, and another, until you have given 70 possible reasons for which, for what they did. And if you still cannot find, tell yourself, instead of saying, what a rude person, we think perhaps they are carrying a pain I cannot see. Instead of thinking they are ignoring me, we think perhaps they are going through something. Instead of immediately labeling them incompetent, we think perhaps there is a story behind this mistake that I don't know. 70 excuses, not because wrong becomes right, not because we should tolerate injustice, but because what we see is rarely the whole story. Today, we live in a world where one sentence can destroy a reputation, one mistake can define a person, one disagreement can turn our friends into enemies. We have become very quick to judge and very slow to understand. And this is where my word of the day comes in, rapprochement. Rapprochement means coming together again. I believe humanity needs more rapprochement. We need rapprochement between families, between friends, between communities, between people who disagree culturally or religiously. And sometimes rapprochement begins with something incredibly small. Giving someone the benefit of doubt. So, people of 21, 26, if you're listening now, I have three wishes for you. First, be curious before being critical. When someone's behavior doesn't make sense, ask what I don't know. Second, forgive more quickly. You don't have to forget the lessons. You don't have to accept every behavior, but you can choose not to carry hatred. And third, choose reproachment over resentment. Because every time we choose understanding over anger, every time we choose forgiveness over revenge, every time we choose a conversation over a confrontation, we bring two human beings together. Perhaps the greatest advancement humanity can achieve in the next 100 years will not be artificial intelligence, flying cars, or living on another planet. Perhaps it will be something much simpler, learning how to live with one another. So, my message to humanity 100 years from now is give them 70 excuses. When someone hurts you, try to understand before you condemn. And when there is a distance between two hearts, choose rapprochement. Because perhaps the greatest journey humanity can make is not from earth to Mars, it's journey from judgment to understanding, from resentment to forgiveness, and from separation to rapprochement. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for a wonderful recital. Asma, you pointed a great point that we all need understanding, understanding each other, awareness, and treat one another with that understanding, which I think human will need in the future more because technology and everything much more advancement. So thank you for your wonderful recital. And now let's move to Fazal. Reha, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay,
Okay.
let's go.
Okay. I just wrote a letter in the message format to our humanity of 21,026. Dear humanity of 21,026, I wonder what your world looks like. Perhaps you have cities on Mars. Perhaps you can travel between planets. Perhaps the technology we consider impossible today is completely ordinary to you. But I hope that despite all your progress, you haven't forgotten how to be human. Today, we often divide ourselves by countries, religions, languages, politics, and countless other things. But if you look at Earth from space, none of those borders are visible. You simply see a tiny blue dot floating in an enormous universe. That is our home. So my message is to you is simply please take care of it. Take care of the planet, but also take care of each other. Build better technology, explore the stars, cure diseases, create things that we cannot even imagine today, but don't become so advanced that kindness become outdated. Don't let technology make you forget how to talk to someone face to face. Don't let having more make you forget to appreciate what you already have. And don't measure the success of humanity only by how far we traveled into space. Measure it by how much suffering we left behind. Maybe by the time you hear this, humanity has already reached other planets. If so, congratulations many times. But remember, the planet that gave you your beginning. Remember Earth. Remember that every person you have ever loved, every great achievement humanity has ever made, and every ordinary person who simply tried to make it through another day. All of them lived on the same little blue dot. So humanity of 1026, I don't know what your future holds, but I hope you become wiser. I hope you looked at that pale blue dot and remember that every person you ever loved, every person you ever hated, every great winter, every great scientist, every soldier, every child, every ordinary person who simply woke up and tried their best, all of them lived on that same tiny dot. So take care of it. Take care of each other, and if you ever feel humanity is too divided, too broken, or too small to accomplish something, look up, look at the stars, then look back at the earth, and remember we have already survived everything that brought us here. Perhaps the greatest achievement of the next 100 years won't be reaching another planet. Perhaps it will simply be learning how to live together on this one with hope from the past, a human being from 2026. Thank you.
Thank you, Reha, for sharing your wonderful ideas. One of the message for which I got from your speech was that we should share that blue dot and live peacefully. Take care of that blue dot. Now let's move to our other participants. Fazal, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, let's go.
Thank you so much. In 3026, I will leave a very short message, and that would be a poetic verse of Allama Muhammad Iqbal. है दिल के लिए मौत मशीनों की हुकूमत, है दिल के लिए मौत मशीनों की हुकूमत, एहसास मुरवत को कुचल देते हैं आलात. Translation: The rule of machines is death to the human heart. Machines crush our sense of compassion and fellow feeling. My message for them would be: you might be very advanced in technology, but let artificial intelligence and technological advancement make you more capable, but not less a human being. No matter how far you go ahead of us, no matter how advanced you are in technology, in development and progress, no matter how smart you are from us, but don't forget that you are human. The essence of humanity is love, compassion, and feeling. And the message would be: use the advancement, the technology to further the humanity, but not to lessen it. This brings me to another experience that happened with me recently. I'm a village boy. I was born and raised in a village where, when the death was happening somewhere, when there was a tragedy or a mourning in some families, we used to go there, and still we do. We go there, sit with the family, sympathize with the family, and sit with them and spend some time with them. And now, even now, when it happens somewhere, to me, I had a very different concept of humanity. I thought just sending a text message or a voice note someone who is bereaving, that would be a casual thing. But recently, I lost my newborn son, and the response of the people changed my concept. When the people sent me text messages and they sympathized with me through telephone, That totally moved me. I understood that even when a person is living far away, they could connect with us through messages. And at that time of bereaving, you can feel it. You can connect to people. So we can use the technology this way, and we can use technology to advance the humanity like this. And how far you go and how advanced you are. But please don't forget that we are human and we have to use these tools, these machines, just to further the humanity, not to lessen this. And this would be my message. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And this was the last participant of our session with a wonderful idea that we all are human and we all are made of emotion. And what I would give my message is that we all share this tiny pale blue dot. And I don't know, maybe our next generation might be different from us in countless ways, and we are different in different habits and characters. But one thing that we share that our core is we are human, we are made from emotions. And that message is that we, how we make feel each other, how we take care of each other. And I think that thing will survive. So with that message, I hand over my session to
No, I think
Toastmaster
I
of the
think
day.
Fatima, Toastmaster Fatima,
Sorry.
Yes, hi.
Toastmaster Fatima will also be presenting something.
Okay.
See the
Fatma?
Yes, with you.
Okay. Sorry. I missed you. I thought
Not a problem.
okay.
Imagine that we could place a message inside a time capsule today to be opened by humanity 100 years from now. So, dear people of the year 2126, greetings from 2026, a fascinating time when our phones were smart, our watches were smart, our homes were becoming smart, and yet most of us still walked into a room and forgot why we went there. First, congratulations on reaching 2126. We sincerely hoped you would make it. By now, you probably have flying cars, robot assistants, holidays on Mars, and machines that fold laundry automatically. Please tell me that you have invented that last one. Forget flying cars. A machine that washes, dries, folds, irons, and puts the clothes back into the correct cupboard would be humanity's greatest achievement. I also have an important question. Do people in 2126 still use passwords? Because at least where we are right now, every password had to contain an uppercase letter, a lowercase letter, a number, a symbol, and the name of your first teacher and the emotional history of your family. Then, after creating that perfect password, the website would still tell us you cannot use a previous password. What previous password? I cannot even remember what I had for breakfast. I'm assuming that in your time, technology can now read minds. That sounds wonderful, but please be careful. Human beings have thousands of thoughts every day that should never become notifications. Maybe artificial intelligence now attends meetings for you. Your digital assistant sits through the meeting, takes notes, answers questions, and even gives you a summary afterward. The meeting lasted 2 hours. Everything important could have been communicated in one email. Some things apparently never change. Perhaps food is also completely different. From the movies that I have seen, maybe you take a tiny nutrition capsule and it provides all the nutrients your body needs for the entire day. But I hope you have not forgotten the real food. A capsule may contain all the nutrients of a biryani. Sorry about that, my phone. A capsule may contain all the nutrients of a biryani, but it cannot create the same family debate. The biryani is too spicy, or it needs more spice. Who took that last piece of chicken? These are not arguments, these are cultural traditions. By 2126, I'm assuming that every household task is being done by a robot. But remember, never give robot too much confidence. One day you may say, please clean the house, and the robot may respond, certainly. But first, I have prepared a performance evaluation of your housekeeping skills. Even worse, just imagine a robot joining Toastmasters. It would deliver a speech with perfect grammar, perfect timing, and absolutely no filler words. Then it would evaluate us. You used 4 times, exceeded by your time by 12 seconds, and your joke only received a moderate laughter. Thank you, Evaluator Bot. We appreciate your very human encouragement. But dear people of 2126, my real message is not about machines, passwords, or flying cars. My only concern is about the machine folding clothes. That is important. It is about being human. I hope that after 100 years of progress, people still laugh together. I hope children still ask those wonderfully difficult questions. Why is the moon following our car? I hope families still gather around the same table. I hope friends still make time for each other, not only by sending an emoji, but by genuinely being present. Your technology may be fast, but please do not become too busy to listen. One thing that makes us human are our mistakes. They teach us. Our strength, our struggles, they strengthen us. And at the same time, some of our funniest stories, they give us life. So, humanity of 2126, keep inventing, keep exploring, keep learning. But as you build this advanced world, always remember to be more compassionate. If by any chance you have invented time travel, please come back and tell us how everything turned out. Because even after 100 years, I'm sure someone will say, I'll be ready in 5 minutes. But we all know what that means. Thank you.
Thank you, Fatma, for such a wonderful recital. And you leave with the great message that we should share laughter and connection with each other in the future as well. So, with this, our session goes back to Toastmaster of the Day, Talha.
Oh, thank you so much. For a moment, I thought Toastmaster Asghar and DTM Irfan were the Toastmasters. Thank you so much for that session. I think it was thought provoking as always, with amazing presentations from everyone. I will float the poll for the best wordsmith, and since there are around 7, I would urge everyone to vote for 2 of your favorite speeches so that we can have a result. So I'm floating the poll right now, and in the meantime, I'll hand over the charge to our journal evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Asmanas. So over to you, DTM.
Thank you so much. And today morning or maybe yesterday night, I texted DTM Talha, I'm hoping for an amazing meeting. And he said, Inshallah. And we all have witnessed an amazing session today. like always, every segment was just took us to somewhere, and we forget that where we are now, but we are now in WordWise Advanced Toastmasters Club meeting. Thank you, every single role holders. And the good thing about the WordWise is that we only have speech evaluation, not the table topics evaluation. So may I request ask DTM Fatima? Okay.
Yes, hi, I'm back here. Are we having the evaluation? Sorry, I'm trying to focus on two calls. Okay, thank you.
Please go ahead.
Toastmaster Noshin, the purpose of your project was to practice using vocal variety to enhance your speech. Your speech entitled The Voice Within gave you an excellent opportunity to demonstrate how our inner voice can influence our confidence, choices, and growth. You opened with a very engaging question. Have you ever experienced a moment when a sentence changed your whole day? Your articulation was clear, your delivery was comfortable, and your conversational voice helped you establish an immediate connection with the audience. In my opinion, your visual delivery per se was especially impressive. Speaking through Zoom, you used the virtual space like a stage. Your body language was confident, your gestures were purposeful, and your spatial presence was excellent. I would like to use the term spatial presence because you utilized the space so well. You demonstrated that an online platform does not have to restrict a speaker's impact. Your speech also included powerful phrases such as waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. Your message about being afraid of imperfection was relatable and a reminder that we should also not compete with ourselves we should be competing with ourselves and not with the others, which I believe was highly motivational. Your most memorable moment was undoubtedly the closing with the mirror. It was epic. The mirror became more than just a prop. It represented reflection, self belief, and even more, lately, what I've been reading on manifestation. Visually, it gave your speech a powerful and memorable conclusion. To strengthen the vocal dimension of your speech, I would encourage you to create greater contrast in your pitch, volume, pace, and in some cases, even pauses. Some sections were delivered, which I could see. There was a point where I felt there was a similar vocal pattern. There were so many powerful ideas, and because of that flat vocal pattern, I could sense that it did not create that impact. For example, before saying, waiting for the perfect moment that never comes to you, you could pause, probably slow down a bit, lower your voice, then place a stronger emphasis on never comes. That allows the audience to feel the weight of the message. Even more, I was so excited to hear one thing, and that was more of Noshin's own voice. What exactly did that voice want to say to you? Was it fearful, critical, encouraging? How did it sound before a transformation or after? I wanted your own personal story because that is exactly what contrasts the vocal tones, gets the audience attention, and even more makes your message even more emotionally compelling. My challenge to you, Toastmaster Noshi, is to assign a distinct voice to each emotion. perhaps for hesitation, fear, realization, and confidence. That is exactly what makes you really distinct at level 3. Let us hear that transformation not only through your words, but also through your pitch, pace, volume, and pauses. You gave clear articulation, engaging in visual expression, relatable wisdom, and an unforgettable closing. With a greater contrast to vocal variety and any deep personal story that relates to you, I'm sure your message will not just be heard, it will be felt and remembered. Thank you so much, and well done, Toastmaster Nosheen.
Thank you so much, DTM Fatima, for such an insightful evaluation. And I'm sure it was great evaluation and will be helpful in improving in delivering the next speech. Now it's time for the facilitator's role. I would request Toastmaster Fazal Akbar, if you are ready with your report, can we have you? Or shall I go with my super listener?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, DTM Swanas. As a language evaluator, I have noted down some good points, not bad ones, because we are sitting among some the highest intellectuals of the Toastmasters. So I couldn't dare to point out some bad things in terms of language. So I've just noted down some good things. One thing that I noticed that will always stay with me is no matter how far the moon is, but it is bound by the Earth's gravity. The same goes for our loved ones who may be far away but are connected. So, this could be my message to the next generation that is coming after 100 years. But I forget to mention this. And if there is a postscript, I would add that. Another good thing, some good words and phrases that were a kind of addition into my knowledge, which I have noted down, are anomaly, food for thought, genre, though it could be that this genre, laggard, ironically, insignificant, longevity, reacts on our impulses, antagonize, tangible tools, lucrative, flood of information, ultra learning, cut both ways. And I also noticed that we are quick to judge but slow to understand. These are the things I have noted down to my knowledge. I will come again and again to consult them to increase my knowledge and to better my communication. Over to you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Haven't you noted anyone for the word of the day? I guess there are signals issues on the first part. He is freeze. For now, I will go for my super listening. Then I'll submit the word master report. Okay. So my question is, how many genres were mentioned in DTM Farooq's first line? No one noticed.
6.
It was 7. Then he mentioned 2 more. 8, 9. Ultimately. And now next question is, DTN Samir mentioned a few writers' names. Can anybody name any 2?
Mohsen Ahmed,
Mirza Ghalib.
Mirza Ghalib, yes.
And
Manto. I think Sadat Hassan
Mantu.
Manto.
Mantu.
yes.
Yes.
Great. Uh, uh, Another question. How many countries name used by DTM Irfan?
I think four: Pakistan, India, America, Lahore, Karachi.
No, Lahore, Karachi are the cities.
Yes, but he mentioned Lahore, Karachi, but overall, yes, four
America and
countries.
London. London. The fourth one
London,
was
yes.
London. London, okay. UK, sorry. UK. He mentioned UK. London is also a city. Okay. So, in which class Toastmaster Asghar saw his picture
In
first
eighth
time?
class. Eighth class.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. And if I ask about the year, what will be the year of our messages to the future people?
I think
21,
21,026.
9, 9,
No, no,
2020,
not
21,
19.
20.
Yes, 21,026.
Okay. And what was the main idea or theme of Toastmaster Fazal Akbar recital?
Blue dot? Theme
It
or
was,
message?
yes, that distance doesn't matter, even
Yes.
communication
Yeah.
works. So this was from myself, being super listener, and for the word of the day rapprochement, DTM Talha used it twice, or I noted, and for me, I used it maybe 3 times. And if anybody else has used it,
Yes, I used one time
yeah.
only.
DTM Rihanna also used it. So thank you so much for using the word of the day. And last but not the least, may I have the timer report?
Yes, sure. So everything was going on time, but then we deviated because we added one last minute speaker to the Let's Word It recital. And now, again, that was, I think, that added 5 to 6 minutes. Everyone else, including the speakers, the keynote speakers, the recitals, everyone was within time except for, sorry, DTM Fatma, you exceeded your time both in your recital and in your evaluation. So everyone else was within time.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for your pair report. Now it's my general evaluation report. As usual, this is now becoming my pride that we always start meeting on time. This is one of the best thing we are witnessing for our WordWise Advanced Club meeting, that by the time 11:30 clicks, everyone starts joining and we follow the agenda timely. So kudos to everyone, and especially Tia Moody maintained the timing and manage everything very timely. Number one. Number two, the keynote. Everyone is appreciating how we come up with a keynote, and uh, the content was very rich. But believe me, there is a brain behind it, and that is DTM Tarha. Because I had this idea that we will be having the keynote from both the sides, and we discussed it, and we had some uh, discussion regarding what should be the content, or what and how it is going to be. Then I onboarded DTM Farooq as well. So thank you for contributing and making the keynote uh, distinct from other keynotes. And it's a dialogue style that was very appreciated. Uh, then we had an amazing speech. The speaker Nausheen Yasir was mesmerizing, and we were following what she was saying. Everything was from her heart, and as her title says, voice within, so it was from her heart. Then we had table topics in this term for the first time, but Toastmaster Rehana did her justice. One thing I would like to add that Toastmaster Rehana, you worked on the theme and took lay out the topics accordingly. Thank you so much. And for the extempore speech writing, being VPE, what I am doing, I am not asking members to take up the role. I am choosing members for taking up the role. In last meeting, I requested Toastmaster Asghar, and he did justices. Then I requested Toastmaster Nausheen, because I wanted every member of our club should experience it and should reap the benefits of this segment. And inshallah, we will be doing it for the in future as well. Overall, an amazing meeting with amazing theme, with amazing ideas, and I with this I would like to close my general evaluation. And now I hand over the charge to Toastmaster of the Day, DTM Talha. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, what a beautiful agenda we had today. It was a longer meeting than usual, and it had everything. It had a keynote, it had our extempore writing and table topics and prepared speeches and whatnot, and six recitals, and also book review and interpretive reading. So, it was beautifully done. Thanks to our VP Education for drawing out that agenda. Thanks for our role players. And I will float the poll now for the best major role player. Please cast your vote. And in the meantime, I'll bring my session to a close as TMOD. Today we saw that we are a pale blue dot, but have you ever thought about one thing? And again, this will change your this is guaranteed to change your perspective on everything. Yes, we are a pale blue dot. This is what we look like. But do you realize that there are no other pale dots, pale blue dots elsewhere in the universe? There's not a single blue and green planet elsewhere in the universe. In our solar system, every planet has a red or orangish hue. And of course, we have the gas giants who have multicolored swirls of gas. But there is nothing, absolutely nothing that we've discovered or seen that matches the Earth's green and blue color. In trillions and trillions of stars, galaxies, solar systems, we have seen other planets. We even suspect that some of them may have life. But there is no other pale blue dot so far elsewhere in the universe. And that also leads one to think that we may be, there's a chance that we are the only life in the universe simply because no other planet looks like ours. Of course, life can take other forms. Life could be thriving on other planets as well. But from what we know and from what we've seen, there is no other pale blue dot. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for your votes. Thank you for being part of this beautiful meeting. I now hand over the charge back to our presiding officer, distinguished Toastmaster Asmanas.
Thank you so much. And in my general evaluation, I missed a point, and I would like to appreciate Toastmaster Asghar for bringing that book, Distancing. You know, in our every segment, we have books, book reviews, and we different Toastmasters introduce the books. Even Toastmaster Asghar has previously introduced the book. But you know, for this book, I'm literally thinking of reading it. I'm not a very avid reader, but the way he explained, I was actually reading the book.
Yes.
So hats off to you. You did an amazing job, and I was just wondering that if you could have read something from it. Maybe I will read it myself and then share my experience with you. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and uh, I hope the results are ready.
Yes, they are. So today, best wordsmith goes to DTM Fatma Ali. Congratulations. Best major role player goes to myself. Thank you so much. Best speaker goes to Toastmaster Nosheen Yasser. Alas, there is no best evaluator because you exceeded your time, DTM Fatma. Otherwise, you would have won that award too, in addition to being the best table topic speaker, which you also won. So, congratulations, and that is for the awards.
Thank you so much, and congratulations to the winner. And I would like, just for a few minutes, few seconds maybe, I would like to have comments from Toastmaster Nosheen, that how was her experience being extempore speech writing segment curator? Toastmaster Nosheen?
If Nosheen is away, perhaps you can invite Zuhaib Suleiman. He hasn't
Yes,
had.
yes, yes. I intend to. Yes, yes. Toastmasters, he's a guest and I know him. I invited him. So, yes, he's doing articleship from Yusuf Adil. So, he was there. And so, I requested, invited him. Zohaib, are you available? And would you like to share your thoughts? Maybe he is shy. Okay, I'll get the feedback otherwise. Okay, uh, DTM Fatima?
Yes, DTM Nisma.
Okay. So, my question from you, when are you taking our membership?
When do you want me to take your membership? At a time when you really need members.
Yes,
Okay.
Put me on the list, put me on the list. Let's strategically work this through, okay?
yes, thank you so much.
So, yes, if when you feel like, oh my God, we need a member to actually maintain it, bam, just come over to me. With less than 24 hours, I'm your club member. Not a problem.
Perfect, perfect.
And
Thank
I'm
you.
this club, who would miss out this club?
Exactly. And my request will be to please spread the word and invite as many guests from Saudi so that they know how good this club is and how good our meetings are. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank
DTM
you so
Asma,
much
if you
for
can
joining.
just send us a brief, like, I would say about 50 to 100 words description about your club, what day, date, and time it meets, and all of that. Just send it over to me. I'm working on something really exclusive, so let me add it there, just so we can have more club audience. Because wallah haram, this club is like every literature and philosophy person's dream club. It should, I
Oh,
mean, people should join.
great, great, great. Inshallah, we'll come up with something that really grab attention of everyone. Thank you so much. And can we have the group photo if DTM Tala?
Yeah, lovely idea, DTM Asma. Just for future, let's have a group photo much earlier in the meeting so that we can have.
Yes, 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 because we have a very few audience right now, but we have taken pictures in the
Yeah, yeah,
beginning.
we have. Toastmaster Noshin, if you could turn on your screen, guest Zuhaib, if you could. All right, we have Noshin with us. So, okay, I'm taking a picture. 3, 2, 1. Yes. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thank you so
Love
much.
it.
Bye bye. Allah Hafiz.
Bye bye. Thank you.